Holy cow, not yet. Welcome to the Tuesday Economic Report. It's Brian here, and today I'm just saying it's a glorious day. Wonderful warm weather here in Ohio, and you hear the crickets, you hear the bugs here kind of winding down their operation because before too long it's going to be over for them, and we'll be shifting from summer into fall, and of course fall into dare I say winter. And if you are anywhere in the upper part of the United States, you know exactly the winter I'm talking about. But of course I've come to celebrate the changes in seasons here, and I do enjoy the summer, and I do really enjoy the fall, and of course spring seasons, and of course winter, believe it or not, has a blessing to it as well. I gotta be honest with you, doing the little things like going ahead and stocking up the fireplace, and yeah, going outside in colder weather. I kind of like it actually. Now this is not just bitter cold, and bitter cold only happens about 5, maybe 7 days out of the entire winter. So we consider ourselves blessed around here. And of course, what's the other hidden thing about living in a place like Ohio? Obviously, all that snow turns into fresh water, folks, and fresh water is a commodity. So I want to remind you that is a snapshot of what goes on here. So I'm going to go out here and enjoy the weather on the front porch and go ahead and light into the economic report. Boy, today I released a long form video, and I got to be honest with you, I was so incredibly excited to share the format. I've been tinkering around with something called StreamYard, which is just a different format of sharing. I usually create a video show, if you will, where I do a ton of editing, etc. But I've got to be honest with you, I'm really kind of like digging this new format. It's appearing to be much more watchable by audiences. So the the metrics that you measure is, hey, are people clicking? Well, that's your thumbnail, but the next part is, are people actually like watching? And people seem to really be chewing up that format. So, hey, welcome to the Economic Report. It's Brian here, and I appreciate you being here. My statistics don't always keep track of how many people are actually on here, but I'm here to say I'm super excited that you're here and part of this audience. So what can we share here? Wow, 21 of you, bam, just like that. Welcome to the Economic Report. And hey, Seth, great to have you here. Thank you for joining me. You are amazing. And of course, we're just sitting here on the front porch and we're talking economics, believe it or not, and talking gold. All right, Crick, great to have you here. Gimner, good to have you. Are amazing. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you being here and being part here. Watch out for toads. Well, I'll tell you here, around here, maybe not, but I definitely hear the crickets right now, so the frogs can't be too far behind. Well, Mr. Fardert, well to have you here as well. Thank you for joining the Economic Report. You guys really do make this a ton of fun, so thank you for being here. And of course, I've been trying to show up here on a pretty regular basis. I was showing up at 4:30, and I just wasn't catching that nice audience that I'm catching right now. So if you think somebody should be here, please feel free to go ahead and invite them to be here, because that's kind of part of what makes this show so much darn fun. Far Dirt from Illinois, well, welcome to the Economic Report. I am curious. I know of Peoria, Illinois. I know a lot about, of course, Chicago. I spent a ton of time in Chicago. So, economy, inflation is still too high. Well, let me tell you, friend, you are 100% right. Inflation is way too high, and I think you're really kind of bringing us into what on earth is going on with gold, because remember, people fly to, do we call quality when it comes to gold, and gold is like $3,700, just under that right now in the United States. And of course, why so much people like flowing into gold? Well, we can break it down this way. Let's go to culprits number one. We can go talk about the BRICS all day long. And by the way, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And of course, drop a comment below, because I comments here. But let's go back to the BRICS. The BRICS are trying to form their own rival to the U.S. dollar. Yeah, Gimner, I'm here to tell you that there's some truth to that, but I'm going to throw this out there to you because you're already bringing this up. What if, and I'm saying, what if you had, gee, goodness sakes, 10 ounces of gold? The big question is, if you have the gold, that's one thing. How on earth do you get rid of it? And how do you make sure you're getting market price for it? Because that always seems to be the big question, right? And that was something I discussed in my long form video today. So I do want you to kind of take that piece into consideration. And maybe, just maybe, I'll throw one other thing out here that might be of interest. And that is there another way to play gold without actually holding physical gold? Well, today's long form video that I've put out there on my YouTube channel really talks about maybe making a play on gold miners and silver miners instead. Think about that for a minute. We threw out like Newmont Mining, for instance, as a way to be a player in gold without actually own physical gold. It's just a thought. One that I used to follow quite a bit was another called Anglo Ashanti Gold. Its ticker symbol was AU. I'm not even sure if it's still traded or it was gobbled up by another company, but you get the picture. These are some very, very like real things to be aware of, and just letting you know that some people are trying to play gold a few different ways. That was one of them. Another thing that was going on out there, and I found it absolutely nuts, that some people were saying, well, crypto can be the new gold. And let's face it, folks, I just don't think crypto is there, at least not yet. And my video I did out on Monday really kind of talked about crypto. Not that I don't like it. I think it's an intriguing, investment, right? And it's had some pretty astronomical results in some areas. But I also compared it to the tulip bulbs, if you will. Think about the tulip bulbs bubble of the 1600s with the Dutch, right? Like that was an economy where they went completely haywire over tulip bulbs of all things, and it was treated just like a commodity. And people bid up the price and bid up the price, and of course, with that came this completely meteoric rise in prices of tulip bulbs. Well, you're right. Evidence is wartime. How gold always prevails as a paying currency. I agree with you, Gimner. Like no question about it. You are right on the money there, particularly in times of war. In times of peace, that might be a different question. We've seen this happen a couple times here, right? And if you take a look, even back like 2012, 2013, gold was really on a rip for a while. Then all of a sudden, like the bottom dropped out of it, and there goes your whole thing. Like, what do you do with the gold? You can sell a gold miner by trading a stock, but what do you do with physical gold? Maybe just hold on to it. That could be a way to play it. It could be a way to play silver. I don't have 100% of an answer for you there, but I'm just saying, what would you suggest doing then, Gimner, if you have the gold? Do you hold on to it? Do you want to dump it? Will you hold on to it forever? I'm curious, what would you do? And if you do have some thoughts, please share them, because you seem like you're pretty darn sharp, and you definitely are a bit of a bug, which I kind of like, because there's always going to be an intrinsic value to gold. Like that's not going away. So you 100% have that. Some of these cryptocurrencies, just like tulip bulbs, I don't know if some of these things are going to be around like next week, let alone next year, let alone 5-10 years from now. So it's just something to take into consideration. And so with that, we're having some really, really good discussion here about gold, about the value of it. And maybe we can go into the rest of the story, why gold is going like through the roof right now. Obviously, the US dollar is the world's reserve currency, but there is no guarantee that lasts forever. It's extremely important to recognize that as well, that this US dollar is really the result of World War II and the 1940s, and it became the world's reserve currency. But it's a different world here as well. And hey, the United States government, shame on them, overspends, right? And I think every country that does become the reserve currency, that's always the default. They always go into a cycle where they overspend. The Roman Empire did it. And you see that the Dutch did so, the British did so, particularly after the war. And here we are in the United States, and we're carrying like a $30 trillion debt. That is just an ugly number any way you cut the cake. But the U.S. dollar is still king for now. But we just know that there's a bigger group of people, the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, want to dethrone the dollar. And of all countries, I'm sorry, but South Africa irritates me a little bit. They were over in the White House not that long ago, hat in hand, asking for like handouts from the United States. And I don't know if you're Trump or you're J.D. Vance or you're Howard Lutnick or you're the Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent. You've got to be taking a look at these guys and saying, you're trying to undermine our currency and you're over asking for handouts. It just seemed completely outrageous. And if you're with me, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, that was another reason, the fact that we do have a pretty heavy debt here in the United States. We don't have clear indication from the Fed is which way interest rates are going. I'm assuming they're going to make a cut now that the last 2 months of employment reports have come in and they're showing that we are very, very slow on hiring right now. And of course, the ongoing concerns about the tariffs, those things aren't going away either. And so it's any one of those factors is one thing, but taking all those things together, good heavens, you've got yourself in a situation where you've got, I wouldn't say the perfect storm, but you most definitely are in a condition where you can say, well, there's uncertainty, and markets tend to not move on uncertainty. But Lord knows things like gold and silver and other precious metals seem to really gain a ton of traction when there's a place where there's going to be uncertainty. You don't know what the future holds. Markets love predictability because that's easy money for them. They love it when it's going to go up. They love it when it's going to go down. The fact is, uncertainty really drives things like gold. And I'm really surprised that like energy is not taken off either, whether it's the oil, whether it's the natural gas. Those also seem to be some pretty safe places to put money as well. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolutely, all right, rate cut. How much? Well, I'll tell you what, my friend, MFD, I would say that we're going to go a quarter. Scott Bessent, Secretary of Treasury, says up to a 0.5% cut he thinks is out there as well. But, okay, so there's your catch-22 all of a sudden. If you cut a little, that's always safe. If you cut too much, it might be the right decision, but also through the market all over again saying that, hey, wait a minute, is the United States getting panicky about a recession or that they didn't act soon enough? That's out there as well. So, MFD, you really do have a phenomenal point. Thank you for asking that. Well, how intelligent. I'd also say one other thing here to take into consideration, right? And of course, it's the climate, right? Whatever country you're in, I know I've got viewers from the UK, Canada, Australia, anywhere throughout. I get these viewers on my channel, and I really appreciate every single one of you, no matter where you're at, folks. Maybe the most basic thing we can always remember, like, dude, we are in this together at the end of the day. Whether it's Wall Street economics, whether it is DC politics, at the end of the day, these things all come down and hit people just like us on Main Street. And that's kind of what makes this channel amazing. It's really what makes you amazing as well. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you of a couple of things here that I always share with my audience. Thank you for being here, first of all, and I do really appreciate you. And if I can give you a parting thought here, I just want to remind every single one of us that the biggest battle you're fighting is the one between your ears, over your thoughts, your action, and your attitude. And I can't begin to tell you, you are in charge of those things. to the ninth degree. Smile, somebody, make, and once again, we're all in this mess together, so be kind. Until then, I want to make sure you have a wonderful day. Make sure you've liked and subscribed, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Have a wonderful day, folks. Thank you.